Hey, I was thinking about people dying and how we just write them off and saying they died of a natural death, they lived a good life, and it's on to the next day. You know, so many people have died lately in the sports world. Tom Seaver, Lou Brock, um, so many people. But you hear about death every day, obviously. We hear about people who you know, who you don't know. If you got your ear tuned to the radio or you're online, a lot of times you're hearing it, for me anyway, on the radio. Radio is a very powerful medium in my life. They say it reaches 90% of the people in America, which is interesting. But they always say natural deaths, right? Well, I want to just focus in on natural deaths. All right. And what they're trying to say, I guess, is that, you know, they died of old age. There wasn't some overriding pernicious debilitation, disease that caused them to die prematurely. It wasn't one of the big three, you know, cancer, heart disease, or cancer. you with me? But it's not natural to die. That's my point. Okay, I mean, it is natural to die in the sense that we all die, but it's a cause of our nature. We have a fallen nature, and we die. As a result of that fallen nature, we die natural deaths, unnaturally. It's not what should take place. We should all be living forever, but because of the sin of one man, we're all fallen. We're inherited his nature, a fallen nature that's sinful. That's why we sin. That's why there's all kinds of problems in the world. That's why we have healthcare systems that are people, nations, politicians play political football with, because of our sinful nature. That's the reason why we have hospitals. You know, we wouldn't have these things otherwise, in my opinion. All right. So my point here today is that when we see deaths occur we see in our own lives death coming. We're all subject to death. That should be understood. But it just shows you the degree of our blindness. You know, the Bible says we're sheep. We're blind. The sheep is a very amazing creature. They're deaf, they're dumb, they're blind. They'll follow each other off a cliff. You know, there's no danger sign. You know, they're not like crows who can communicate. You know, horses who are very intelligent, or dogs are very intelligent. We're called sheep in the Bible because we are easily fooled. We are easily blinded. We care about selfish things. We don't see the elephant in the room, that death is coming. We don't see it. We're dumb to it. Dumbing us down is almost is a great book out there by John Gatto, New York State Teacher of the Year in 1992. Dumbing Us Down. He claimed that the education system was dumbing us down. And this is something you have to wrestle with your whole at some point in your life, you have to see, you have to take a step back and see what's going on. Hopefully, by God's grace, He'll be the one leading you and showing you that you're being led to a slaughter. The whole purpose of education is just to sustain itself, to sustain the academia, to sustain the teachers. There's a lot of money involved here. John Gardner makes the point that education is not for the students at all. They don't care about the students. So that's his he tried to sabotage the system, and he ends up becoming New York State Teacher of the Year. I think he was in the Bronx, but a great book, Dumbing Us Down. But you see the fallout from COVID and all this hybrid learning, and we need these big high schools anymore? And do we need, what I mean? No, we don't. Until we get the vaccine, right? Well, the vaccine is poison, In fact, the COVID test takes your DNA from you. Plus it can be manipulated. They can make anybody positive. So, so part of education, part of our system is to keep us in the dark and feed us baloney and get us addicted to the baloney. Okay, and one of the balonies is that he dies of natural causes. Is that comforting? Or he died peacefully? Is that supposed to comfort you? The person died. He's gone. He's in heaven or hell. All right? And since we don't acquaint ourselves with the Bible, on balance, we don't. People are dying without Jesus. All right? And Jesus talks about our fallen nature and that we must be born again, the one thing we must do. We don't have to obey all the 10 Commandments. Nobody can anyway. They were just out there to show us that our need. None of us are perfect, and we need a stand-in to take our place as what Jesus did. All right? But the one thing you must be spiritually born. That's what born again means. You must be spiritually born. All right? And then when you die, you'll have a supernatural event take place, the resurrection. And that defeats the natural cause of death. All right? So stick that in your head and remember it. Or stick it in your pipe and smoke it. That's my message today. Have a good one.